Chelsea were able to just slightly stop Arsenal from running completely rampant on the league and extending the gap at the top to what, 8 points clear of Man City. So yeah, Chelsea getting the job done, getting a 1-1 draw, playing with 10 men, by the way. Absolutely brilliant as well. But yeah, they were able to slow Arsenal down in this title race. They have crept into the conversation now. Chelsea have last weekend, and now look, after the week that Chelsea have had, you can't not consider them title contenders. Absolutely ridiculous if you aren't, because of they've come into amazing form over the past 4 or 5 weeks. They're unbeaten in 4 in the league, and then in all competitions, their last defeat was against Sunderland on the 25th of October. They have come into really good form, especially without Cole Palmer as well. So you have to give them massive credits. So yeah, both teams coming into this match in amazing form. Like I said, Chelsea unbeaten in 4 in the league. Arsenal only 1 loss as well. We all know what they've been doing, especially off of the huge win against Bayern Munich at the midweek in the Champions League as well. So yeah, this game had everything that it needed to be an absolute blockbuster, and it did not fall short. It was an amazing match, very entertaining. Chelsea came into the game with a lot of intensity, a lot of electricity and everything. Like, they were just absolutely going for it. Even after going down to 10 men, they didn't even, reserve themselves to playing with a low block and trying to just see out a 1-0 win by defending the entire time. They still, had a bunch of chances. They were trying to make and create as much as they can. And look, they wore Arsenal down and everything. So yeah, it was a really good game. Like I said, Chelsea were very impressive throughout the entire thing. Very electric, played with a lot of intensity, even after going down to 10 men and everything. Reece James deserved that Man of the Match award 100%. He was like a shadow to Declan Rice, just on him the entire time, providing the assist for Trevor Chalobah to get Chelsea's opening goal as well. So yeah, he played an amazing game, especially coming in on the midfield as well, not even playing at right back and everything. So yeah, he had an amazing performance and everything. So now the conversation needs to be had. Can you consider Chelsea title contenders? My answer is absolutely yes. They have, like I said, they have crept into the conversation. Especially last weekend, when at the end of the match week last week, I was thinking, I'm looking at the table and I'm just like, bro, Chelsea are in second place. How did this happen? You know what I mean? Like, they just kind of like came out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't really paying attention to them, to be honest. And I mean, yeah, granted, I'm just looking mainly at City's positioning and how big the gap is and how much we have to overcome and everything. And I wasn't really necessarily like focusing on anyone that would be creeping up, and there Chelsea are. And also, I'm over here thinking, all right, Sunderland and Bournemouth have been occupying that 3rd and 4th place spot for a couple weeks now. So I'm kind of thinking it's them, and then nope, it's Chelsea. They are into the conversation, and Aston Villa have low-key crept up in there as well. I wouldn't necessarily consider Aston Villa title contenders or anything, but yeah, look, you have to take Chelsea serious. They have come together as a group without Cole Palmer. It's a very young side that doesn't necessarily have as much experience as City and Arsenal would have, or even Liverpool and everything. But Liverpool are completely out of the title race and all that. But yeah, I think it'd be kind of foolish to not consider Chelsea as title contenders, given the position that they have found themselves in, that they have earned themselves into getting and everything. And you know what, actually, I said it in my video yesterday, but in my Premier League predictions ahead of the season starting, I did actually predict that Chelsea were going to be in title contention. I thought they were going to have a very intense title race this season. But, granted, I thought the title race was going to be against Liverpool, because I did predict that Liverpool would retain their title and everything, and in reality, it's not. It's Arsenal that are occupying that first place spot and running absolutely rampant on everyone. Just completely dominant. So yeah, the fact that Chelsea have found themselves in the conversation, I think, is absolutely amazing. I think we all want to see it, right? We don't want to see Arsenal run away with the league. We don't want to see any team run away with the league. I myself, as a City supporter, like, sometimes like when we were winning, those four league titles in a row and everything. I didn't want to win it early, and to the point where it's like March or April or whatever, and mathematically, if we win the next two games and there's no one's catching up or anything. Like I like how competitive the league is. I like how intense everything is. I love how everyone can have a shot at the title. You know what I mean? So I always want a very entertaining title race. And I mean, yeah, obviously, those feelings are also a little bit conflicted because I do want City to be completely dominant as well. But I'm a football fan first. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely think that Chelsea being involved in the conversation now is absolutely amazing for the league. I think it's going to shake things up a lot. And look, this result, I was really hoping that Chelsea could get the 3 points, because I wanted nothing more than for Arsenal to be brought to a complete stop, heading into a week where we're going to have matches midweek, and then there's going to be games in the weekend as well and everything. So if Arsenal could just be halted for a moment, end the match week on 29 points, right, 29, yeah, 29 points. I think that gives City a good opportunity to catch up, because Arsenal's next two matches are going to be pretty tough and everything. But I'll take a point, because at the end of the day, if Arsenal get the 3 points today, then the gap just gets bigger. City also not in the best form of their life as well, so it just too much questioning on my end that I'm not really comfortable for. But Chelsea, yeah, getting the job done that they needed. I think that they would be happy to take a point, especially after playing with 10 men and everything. It just opens the league up completely. It's anyone's game still, and that is what we all wanted and needed. But anyway, the result, like I said, keeps the title race completely open. I think if Arsenal were to have to gotten the 3 points, then it would have just been Arsenal's league title to lose at that point. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, it's not as entertaining. But Arsenal, from an Arsenal perspective, is it a disappointing result? They weren't able to get 3 points against 10 men. Chelsea arguably were the better team today, even after going a man down and everything. Chelsea probably were the better team, not in the sense that they should have won or anything, but they were just better organized. I guess they definitely had a plan of attack and everything, and they handled going down to 10 men very well. Like I said, they didn't even get super compact and just played in a low block for the rest of the game, playing freaking haram ball. They actually tried to get something from the match, if an opportunity presented themselves, and they were trying to create opportunities for themselves to get 3 points and everything. So yeah, I don't necessarily see it as a poor result. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to look at the bigger picture, right? Any team going away to Stamford Bridge, I'm pretty sure, as long as they don't lose, they'll be good. They'll be good with the result. And it's also not like Arsenal had clear-cut chances that they should have gone ahead and definitely should have taken the lead or gotten the 3 points. They absolutely could have. Don't get me wrong. Like in the dying moments of the game, if Jurriën Timber didn't steal that header from Gyökeres, we could very much be having a different conversation right now, saying that Arsenal are just way too dominant and it's their leagues for the taking and to lose and everything like that. But it didn't happen. It didn't turn out that way. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure some Arsenal fans will be kicking themselves, and Arsenal themselves will be kicking themselves because of the fact that they couldn't secure 3 points for playing with 10 men. But it's not as simple as it sounds. I don't think that playing with 10 men is as easy as some people think. You play against an opponent that's a man down, and like I said, a lot of teams get very compact and just try to consolidate everything and try to secure whatever position that they're holding on to. If they're losing, they don't want to make it any worse or anything like that. So yeah, they just get compact, and the intensity kind of increases a lot in the defense and everything. So yeah, it is a pretty tough ask to play with 10 men. It's not as easy as some people think. But look, I'm sure, like I said, bigger picture wise, if you were to look at it, you can ask any Arsenal players, staff members, whatever, Arsenal supporters, whatever, before the past 7 days occurs, right? You tell an Arsenal fan, Arsenal player, whatever, you got these next 3 games. You get two wins out of 3, but you don't lose any of them. Here are your 3 opponents. It's Spurs in the North London Derby, Bayern Munich, who are absolutely, arguably the best team in Europe right now, the best team in the world, and then it's another London Derby in Chelsea. You don't lose any of those games. You get two wins from 3s. Anyone would take that gladly. I don't think that it's a poor result, this 1-1 draw or anything. So yeah, and Arsenal are 100% the best team in the world right now. They have proven that this season, and then even more so in the Champions League at the midweek, beating Bayern Munich. So yeah, I don't think that it's a bad result. And then you also got to give them massive credits too. You know what I mean? Because they've had a lot of injuries this season, whereas the past few years that's been their Achilles heels, not having any backup or squad depth or anything, and they finally have that, and they're responding to all these injuries amazingly. No Gabriel today, no Saliba, no problem whatsoever. And Capier and Mascara playing at center back as a center back pairing for the first time ever, and they absolutely held it down brilliantly. They only conceded a goal in the set piece. It wasn't like they conceded an open play. So that performance was absolutely amazing and everything. So look, I don't think that Arsenal fans have anything too much to worry about. I don't think that it's a bad result. You cannot win every week. It's I don't want to say impossible, but it's not that easy. You still have a gap at the top and everything. So I don't think that it's anything to worry about for Arsenal fans. And now we look forward to the midweek and then the upcoming weekend and everything, which is going to bring some really big games in this title race. So let's look at it. So now on Tuesday, City go away to Fulham. I want to say that shouldn't be a tough match, but with the way City have been performing this season, so it's really anyone's guess, to be fair. And then Fulham also coming off of a big win against Spurs over the weekend as well. So I don't know. I'm confident, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of worry. And then having to host Sunderland on Saturday. That's definitely going to be a tough match. Historically, Sunderland have always been tough for City. It's really annoying. But anyway, then Arsenal hosting Brentford on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough match. Brentford have been playing amazing this season. They're coming off of a big win over the weekend as well. That's going to be a tough match for Arsenal. And then they're going to be away to Villa, which is also going to be a huge match for them on Saturday. Villa have come into amazing form after a pretty shaky start to the season. Villa find themselves level on points with Chelsea, actually sitting in 4th place. And I'm sure, even though I'm considering Chelsea title contenders, I'm not considering Villa title contenders. I do think that their main goal is probably to just maintain a top 4 finish and increase the gap on any lurkers that are also trying to compete for a European spot and everything. So yeah, that's going to be a tough challenge for Arsenal too. And then Chelsea away to Leeds on Wednesday, which should on paper be a walk in the park for them, and then also away to Bournemouth on Saturday. And that one's going to be the tougher of the two. But Chelsea definitely with the easier route over the next 2 matches that are upcoming in comparison to City and Arsenal. So yeah, we'll see how they can fare up and everything. So yeah, I will be back after the City Fulham match on Tuesday. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about this title race. Like, comment, subscribe, everything. I'll see you guys later.